KLPS TV is brought to you by the weekly Coaches News Conference on KLPS TV is brought to you by Hawthorne Bank, a proud sponsor of Liberty School District. At Hawthorne Bank, we understand the importance of strong community in a strong school district. We also understand the importance of strong financial future for our school district's families and for our local businesses. Hawthorne Bank, with you every step. And by Jackson Hewitt. For all your tax needs, personal or business, rely on tax professionals at Jackson Hewitt and Liberty, a full-service tax preparation professional. Jackson Hewitt.
Good morning. I think that we knew this last time we met that it'd be playoff basketball the next time we talked, and now it's officially March Madness, and indeed it is. We were able to have some success in our district tournament, college prep by 9 in the semis, and then beating Kansas City East in our championship by 19 to advance on to the state playoffs for the second straight year. Now it doesn't get a whole lot easier once we advance, but I'll get to that in a minute. But really proud of our guys and the way they played this past week at the tournament. We hosted the tournament at North, and I think there was some added pressure on our guys because they didn't want to lose on their home court, and we wanted to make sure that we played well there, and we were able to. We had great crowds, great support, as we always do, and that certainly helped fuel our guys. I think that as we play here this week, Wednesday night at Staley at 6 o'clock, our reward for winning the district tournament and advancing is the #1 team in the state, St. Joe Lafayette, who's 23-4, and probably, they're the #1 team in the state for a reason. So they're good. They're really good. They're really good at a lot of different spots, and we're going to have to play really, really well, give ourselves a chance, and I know our guys will be ready. I know they'll be excited for it, but we'll see when that time comes. So we're excited about the opportunity, and hope that we can make the most of it this week when we're over there at Staley. So with that, open it up to questions.
What does having that game what does that do to you? Do you think that affect the guys in your
No, not really, Ryan. I mean, I think it might add some intrigue to people outside the program. That maybe it helps with the excitement of the game for the people outside the program. At the same time, maybe it keeps our guys' attention a little bit because, if you're playing a team that had a sub-500 record, you'd like to think you'd prepare the same. But I also understand, human nature, and people can, process those things, and who's a good opponent and who's not. And when it's the #1 team in the state, I think the attention is more where it needs to be. And it's a team that we've played twice before, so it's not like we've never seen them. We played them our first year. We went to St. Joe Lafayette our first year, and we're up 24-18, 24-19 going into the fourth quarter, and ended up losing. And then last year we opened the field house with them and played really, really well and won by, I think, 16-17. So, we've got a lot of respect for them. I think it's returned the same way we've earned some respect from them too, and should just be a really good high school basketball game. Well, every year teams evolve, and last year's team that they had was basically the same players that are on this year's team that were a year younger, and that were kind of getting their feet wet for the varsity competition. And so as the year's gone on, they've put in basically a year plus worth of work from the last time we saw them. So they've had 13 months to develop physically, to develop their games, to play in some big situations. And so the personnel's different. Now the system of play is the same. They're still as aggressive a team as we'll see all year. But their personnel is just better, and we're a year older too. Our guys that played them, a lot of guys that'll play them on Wednesday night were on the floor last year. But they play to an identity, they play to a style, and they do it very well.
What's the game plan going into that game? Are you trying to slow them down at all?
Well, I think the best way to quote slow them down is not turn the ball over. They feast on turning you over. I mean, their margin, plus minus in points a game is something like 24. So, not only do they beat people, they beat the crap out of people. You score 64 and you only give up 40 through 27 games. I mean, you're doing something. And they really do a great job of turning you over. So to slow them down, we can't turn it over. And that's something that we've emphasized. It's something we've worked on throughout the year and hopefully developed well enough where we can use that as a strength and not let them go to it. But then the second thing would be, we just got to play really, really good defense. They stretch the floor, they spread the floor. They've got a couple guys that are what I would call prolific shooters. They're open, it's probably going in. So we can't allow them to get open, and then not allowing them to get open means we need to do a good job of guarding the ball so we don't get beat and have to help and rotate. So they're 24-3, and there's a reason they're 24-3 because of how good their players are and how bought in they are to what they do. And we'll have our hands full, but I think that I know our guys will play hard. I just hope we play well enough. Well, it's a great question because as we go farther in the playoffs, it's not a reward. Congratulations, you won. I hope you go play well and win again. For our mindset it's another opportunity to win a game. And usually at this point in the season when you're in the state playoffs, it's the best teams. There are 8 teams left in Kansas City in Class 4. No, scratch that. There are 4 teams left now in Kansas City in Class 4. Everybody else has checked in their gear, and it's going to be the 4 best teams. So the challenges that we face are the teams that are playing the best basketball are still playing. St. Joe Lafayette's ranked number 1 in state. We're ranked number 4. Grandview, who's beaten us this year, and who won 23 or 4 games last year, just won their district against a team that was number 7 in the state. And then Pleasant Hill has won 20 games and won their conference. And those are the 4 teams that are left. So, you see the competition that you're going to see is just through the roof. They're really, really good players, really well-coached teams. And so the challenge is not hoping that you play well and trying to, catch lightning in a bottle. The challenge is making sure that you play well to your identity and give yourself a chance to win in advance, because at this point, that's all you got to. We got to find a way to score 1 more point than they do. And to be very candid, I really don't care how we do it. I just want to score 1 more than they do. Well, yeah. But you got to be careful with that, and I've been careful with it because our guys understand that, and so they're going to put so much pressure on themselves to make sure that that's not the case. That they're going to be focused. They're going to have good carryover. But then at the same time, I don't want them to feel so much pressure with that being the case, because you don't make. You guys understand this one. When you're really, really mad, you usually don't make your best decisions. And when you're when you've got a bunch of adrenaline going and there's a bunch of things going on, and your focus and your attention isn't exactly where it needs to be, then you're not at your optimal level. So I don't want to put that pressure on them. This group is so special for 1,084,000 reasons that I don't worry about them not playing hard or not being motivated or not doing it. But at the same time, who am I kidding? I mean, these games do have a different feel for them. They absolutely do. But that's what makes, in my mind, that's what makes this time of year the absolute best, because everybody realizes it's, we can leave it all out here because, this might be it. And I think that, testament to our guys is they've done that most all year. Has to, yeah. I mean, it has to help us. I think back to, a year ago at this time, we came here to Liberty High and played in what in my time, it was the greatest atmosphere I've ever been a part of. There was not a seat in the place. There's standing room only. It was as loud as could be. I mean, my players couldn't hear me. To call a timeout, I just had to walk on the floor, as the game was going on, because it was so loud the officials couldn't hear you. You couldn't hear the whistles. That's a big atmosphere. We played at Jewel in the championship this year, and there's 3,000, 4,000 people there. We played in our championship, a lot of people in the stands. Our Raytown South Court warming game, our place over at North was almost full. We've played in big settings, and you always worry as a coach, how's your team going to respond in these settings? Are they going to be intimidated by their surroundings, or are they going to be able to focus on what they need to do? In our group has been able to focus on it, and I think that we're going to draw from those experiences. Because, you want to have seniors, and you want to be able to rely on those guys, but if you have seniors who've never been in this situation before, then I don't think it means anything. But the fact that we've got seniors who've played in some big games in front of some big crowds hopefully works to our advantage. It's going to be something that'll take a lot of time and a lot of teaching to give players who maybe haven't been there great confidence. It hasn't been a mistake. It hasn't been by chance that we've been able to put some things together, because of these guys that we've got to bought into what we're trying to do, and they are the ones who are taking the ownership in it and trying to help. And so even though the on-floor experience is not these guys that we'll have next year have been through the battles every single day of practice. They've been fighting for and trying to get playing time from the guys who are. And we might have some different players on the roster. We might have some different players that play minutes, but the expectation will still be the same for them. And that's something that these guys have set. And we don't expect them to be the same group, just like I've never mentioned to our guys as good as Garrett and Tanner were for us last year. I've never asked one of those guys to be Garrett or be Tanner. I've asked them to have some of the characteristics or personality traits that those guys had, but we're all different. And I don't expect guys next year to try to act like Jake or try to act like Zach or Jay. We don't need that. We need them to be themselves, and they're true to themselves, and I think things will work out well for us. But I hope that we can keep this thing going and put off next year for a little while. With that, I'll finish. Just thank you all for being here. If I'll be back next week, and if we're back next week, it's either the season's done or we're in the Final Four. So there's a ton of excitement going on. I hope that as fans of basketball, Wednesday night, if you're free, 6 o'clock over at Staley, I would get there a little bit early because I think it's going to be a blast. I think there's going to be a lot of people. They'd always travel. They've got a great contingent of fans, and they'll travel well. But I know our fans will too, and I know our team will be ready, and we're going to have a blast doing it. So look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday night. Thanks.